Top 12 fragrances for the fall. You know, I already released my clone list, I don't know, several weeks ago, but I realized I haven't done just a straight up best fragrances for fall list. My list changes each year as I acquire more things, even as my tastes develop. And so this one is mostly designer. There's a couple of niche, but in every instance, they're actually quite affordable. So we're going to get into this banger list. But before we do, remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Also, give the like button a very autumn appropriate click. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right, this one right here. This one is really a modern classic. It is truly an oldie, but very much good. This one right here, the original CH Men. This stuff is incredible. It is a leather-based fragrance, as you may be able to deduce from this leather wrap here. But there's also a saffron note giving it some spice. There's a sugar note providing a little sweetness, and it really is a little sweetness. And then there's this grass note that gives it a very intriguing green quality, kind of a fresh cut grass. And it's just barely there. I think it was there much more prominent in older formulations. But this stuff is excellent. The more you wear it, the better it gets. This is about a 2-3 year old bottle, and it still has really good performance. I mean, 7-8 hour performance, which is very acceptable to me. CH Men. All right, next up. This one is really good stuff. I love the Spice Bomb line. I talk about them often. And I think for fall, you know, I love spicy fragrances. I love strong fragrances. This one right here, Infrared EDP, is one of the very best. Infrared EDT could go here as well, but if I had to choose, I would put that one in a winter list because it is a sweeter take on the same DNA. This one has some red fruit notes. It's also got a leather note, which I don't think the EDT did have. And it's got a lot of similarities to the original Spice Bomb, but it's just way more dense. This is a thick, dark and red spicy fragrance. There's almost like a little bit of like a big red chewing gum kind of spice in this one and the EDT. But for fall, this one is a little more mature, and that leather note really just makes it perfect for the season. Spice Bomb Infrared EDP. All right. Next up, there's another one of my favorite lines. This is from the Azzaro Wanted line, and I think the Parfum is one of the best. They're actually all phenomenal, but this one is really something special. This is the Most Wanted Parfum. And it is it's a sweet, fresh vanilla fragrance. There's a very vibrant, sparkly ginger note in the top. It's sort of a clean, sparkly, sweet ginger spiciness. You've got a powerful bourbon vanilla. And so it's a vanilla dominant fragrance with just a touch of booziness. And then you've got what they call incandescent woods, which is kind of like a very slightly smoky woodiness. It's a clean smelling fragrance, but not soapy at all. It's like sweet, spicy fabric softener and powerful vanilla. This stuff is awesome. Le Parfum in the Most Wanted line. All right, next up, this is a new pickup I've already done a video on. I love the Amen line from Mugler, and this is the newest one, Amen Phantasm. It's got a good bit of similarity to the original Amen. It's got that kind of aromatic, spicy coffee patchouli, very dominant, very much front and center. But there's also a sweet gourmand chocolate note, which just makes this one perfect for fall, even perfect for winter. I think it is an improvement on the original DNA and pretty good performance for this stuff as well. Great scent trail sillage. When my sons wear it, you can walk through the hall and just smell the beauty of this chocolatey, aromatic, spicy fragrance. Amen Phantasm. All right, next. Let's go with this one. This is a blue fragrance that I think is perfect for the fall. It's got the sort of freshness and the anytime, anywhere quality of a blue fragrance, but it's also got something a little special. I'm talking about this one, Rous LOM. It is a sweeter take on a blue fragrance. There's a good dose of tonka bean. There's also a good dose of some minty aromatics, perhaps rosemary, juniper, a sort of, fresh, spicy, minty aromatic feel. There's also some fruit, I think orange in the opening. So it's very interesting, not too dissimilar from 100 other blue fragrances, but it's got some very specific distinctives that really set it apart and make it, in my opinion, one of the best fall blues, Rous LOM. All right, next we'll go with this one. This one is like a cheapie. It's like, $30 or so, and it does not smell like a $30 fragrance. It smells like just a mainline designer fragrance. I'm talking about Halloween Man X. And this fragrance has got leather, it's got coffee, it's got a touch of whiskey. It is a coffee fragrance, kind of a roasted coffee bean fragrance, but with a good dose of vanillic sweetness and some of those other darker notes like leather that I mentioned. Really good stuff, and crazy that it's so inexpensive. There's also a good bit of freshness off the top of this one, which is surprising, kind of like the original 1 Million has a fresh blast in the beginning. So does this one, Halloween Man X. Really good stuff right here. Okay, next we'll go with an iris fragrance, and I think one of the best sort of iris forward fragrances like Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense. This one's less expensive though, and every bit as credible, quality, worthy of being in this list. I'm talking about Narciso Rodriguez, I almost said the wrong name, Bleu Noir Parfum. And so this is an iris fragrance with a good dose of leather and suede. It's got that powerful lipsticky iris. It's similar to Valentino Uomo Intense, but not as sweet. And so I would probably say Uomo Intense for winter, this one for the fall. If you want a good iris fragrance at a great price, this is one of the best you can buy, in my opinion, Bleu Noir Parfum. All right, this one right here, whenever I first started my channel, this fragrance was one of my top 3, and it's fairly inexpensive, usually under $50. I'm talking about Mercedes-Benz Club Black. This is just a vanilla bomb. It's tons of gourmand, sweet, rich, heavy vanilla, but you've also got some ambroxan, giving it actually a little bit of lift. And you have an incense note providing just the slightest bit of smokiness. The first 10 times you wear this one, it's just vanilla, vanilla, vanilla. But as you wear it a little more, you'll pick up a little of that incense. You'll get the quality and the texture of the ambroxan. Really great stuff right here. Again, Mercedes-Benz Club Black. All right, next up, another one that whenever I started my channel was one of my favorite fall fragrances. This one is absolutely perfect for the fall, but it's not for everybody. This one has a bit of a classic feel, a bit of a throwback feel. I'm talking about John Vardos Vintage. It does have a good dose of leather, as this leather wrap would lead you to believe. There's also a good bit of spiciness. I actually wore this yesterday. I remember whenever I smelled this in the store the first time, the thing that caught me is I love sweet and spicy fragrances. And even years ago, whenever I would only have a handful of fragrances for any given season, I always loved sweet, spicy fragrances for fall and winter. And this one definitely qualifies. Be aware though, it does have some of the kind of John Vardos original feel like many in this kind of bottle do, but there's a rhubarb note front and center. And if you don't like rhubarb, you're probably not going to like this one. It's a unique, fruity, vegetal kind of note, a little bit of sweetness. So anyway, super unique, a bit of a throwback feel, but this stuff is so cozy in the fall, John Vardos Vintage. All right, now I have 3 niche fragrances, but each of them you can find at a reasonable price if you shop around. First, we'll go with this one right here, Manera's Oud Lemon Mint. This really is an almond fragrance to my nose more than anything else. There is a little bit of mint. There is a little bit of kind of fresher oud, something like Tom Ford oud wood. There's a powdery almond note though, and a lot of powerfully sweet lemon, which is kind of the star of the show, lemon and powdery almond. This stuff is really good. It's long lasting. It projects. Great performance on this one. I've just got a little 60 ml here, but I'm sure I'll never run through it. So again, oud lemon mint. And you can get these often for like 60 bucks, you know, less than many designers. All right, next up, this one is super unique. This one I had never even heard of until, I don't know, several months ago. And I saw a couple of, some of my favorite creators mention it. This one is Frapon 1270 Extreme. The bottle itself is just a work of art. This is a niche fragrance. You've got this beautifully engraved wooden cap, if you can see that. It's got this beautiful engraving that is gilded on the back of the bottle. And it's quality. Everything about this feels like a very expensive fragrance. And 1270 is a boozy fragrance being from Frapon, but it's got some fruitiness and some woodiness that makes it a very classy, very kind of luxurious, high-end, not exclusively formal, but definitely works for formal occasions. There's also a touch of like an incensiness, just a little bit around the edges. This stuff is incredible. Extreme is very similar to the original, but it does perform significantly better from what I understand. This is about a 7-8 hour fragrance. So again, Frapon 1270 Extreme. When this came out, it got a lot of hype because a lot of people absolutely love this stuff. And finally, my last one. This is one of the 2 most impressive fragrances that I own. And what I mean is, this showcases what niche perfumery is all about. Quality on another level, I mean to the moon. And the way it develops and the way that the notes sort of sing and play together, it's incredible. I'm talking about Nishan Fan Your Flames. And this is a coconut rum fragrance. And you might think, well, then why is it in a fall list instead of in a summer list? But it's also a tobacco fragrance that's got a good bit of weighty, dark tobacco. There's also a good bit of spiciness, and there is that coconut in the opening. There's that rum. This is in a similar family to something like Roja Parfum's Enigma. They don't smell that much alike, but they're definitely built in a very similar way and have some similar qualities. The quality level on this and the way that it develops and comes off of your skin is on another level than anything else that I have, except for maybe Nasamato Pardon. This stuff is phenomenal. Nishan Fan Your Flames. All right, so that's been 12, but let me know some of your top picks down below. Your favorites for fall, designer or niche. It could even be a clone, and I love hearing from you. That's where I end up seeing a lot of the fragrances that I end up buying. Remember to give a very autumn appropriate click to the like button if you like the video, and subscribe. I'm Justin. This is Sillage Scents.